Well, the raft fills with water, hits a wall, and flips, trapping a family inside while they hit their heads on the rocks below. The parents in the Raging River Ride accident at Adventureland sharing the nerve-wracking and heartbreaking moments.
Sharing more about their 11-year-old son, Michael, who died from the accident. Michael was trapped by the ride's seatbelt upside in the water. In a Good Morning America exclusive, Michael's parents describe how they want people to remember their son.
He's a loving, gentle. He's the type of person that if a bully is messing with another kid, he would jump in and help that kid so that bully can get away from that kid. He's so kind and he is so helpful.
David and Sabrina's oldest son, Gus, was rushed to the hospital that day fighting for his life. As David explains, his body is in survival mode.
The machines are keeping him alive, and little by little, his body's fighting back. So it's just best for him to kind of put him to sleep again, to calm him down. We're hoping today we could see him.
Here's more on what we know happened. David explains once the ride started, their raft was filling with water and it wasn't leaving the raft as quickly as it was coming in. When the raft bumped into the rocks, it went up into the air and came back down. Then it hit the rocks again. It kept going up and eventually flipped over, trapping everyone upside down in their seatbelts. This accident with the Raging River is the second since 2016.
Fred DORR represented Gladys BOOHER after her husband, Steve, died after working on the Raging River Ride in 2016. He spoke with Local 5's Ryan Scott, saying that incident brought to light problems Adventureland should have solved.
The family's attorney, Fred DORR, was troubled to hear a similar tragedy has now happened 5 years after Steve's death. He says Adventureland failed to address a problem that came to light from the lawsuit that followed.
It took first responders a long time to get back to the site where the incident occurred. So the park was on notice at that point that to get first responders back to that area takes a long time.
Steve's job was to help guests enter and exit the raft. DORR says Steve fell into the ride when the operator hit the button advancing the ride when Steve still had 1 foot on the raft. Back then, there was no emergency exit or entrance near the Raging River for first responders to quickly get to the scene.
Why didn't you have an exit that was, or an entrance that was available for emergency purposes? And did it take a long time to get back there? Now, would that have made a difference for these kids? Could have. The longer you're underwater, the worse it's going to be for anybody that is rescued.
If you take a look at this aerial view of the Raging River Ride that we found on Google, you can see that the closest road to the ride is Prairie Meadows Drive, but there's no road connecting it to the park. We reached out to Altoona PD to find out if this was a factor. We are still waiting to hear back. In studio, Ryan Scott, Local 5 News, We Are Iowa.
And you can watch more of David and Sabrina's interview on our website, weareiowa.com, including how passengers from another raft jumped off to help.